Ooh, hello everyone. Welcome to Mark's Day's Creative Differences. Now, in previous podcasts, I realised I've been very loud when I've started the show. It's usually in an effort to engender some kind of energy, but I'm going to keep it cool, keep it calm today. So, and it's December and it's dark and it's kind of weird time of year. But this is Mark's Day's Creative Differences, a monthly live stream where I talk to writer friends about those little things that make a big difference to their craft and careers, in the hope that we can give readers some insight to the creative process and writers and other creative folk some practical advice they can actually use. I'm Mark Stay, I'm an author, screenwriter and podcaster, and if you're joining us live, feel free to ask questions in the comments and take part in the conversation. But first, before we get started and meet my special guest, I've got a plug. I've got a book out. Well, almost. The End of Magic. Let's bring it up. There's the End of Magic trilogy. There we go. The End of Magic, the End of Dragons, the End of Gods is finally finished. Now, first of all, my apologies for the lack of news and delays on the book. If you follow me on social media, you'll know the last few months have been a bit of a emotional roller coaster. My life was like a low budget Richard Curtis rom-com. One wedding, one funeral, but the good news is the End of Gods is ready. The bad news is that it's Christmas. Now, does that make me Scrooge? Not exactly, but it does mean that the Royal Mail is struggling to deliver parcels on time. Book printers are rushing to get books from major publishers into the bookshops, so there could not be a worse time to rush a paperback novel into publication. And I wouldn't want to publish it now and promise it delivery for Christmas. It's just too stressful for all concerned. So here's what I'm going to do. The paperback of The End of Gods will officially be published on the 8th of January. Ooh, I hear you cry. Hiss, down with this sort of thing. Well, hang on a minute. Here's the good bit. The ebook version is available right now. And you go, I really wanted a paperback. Well, here's the deal. If you pre-order The End of Gods in paperback from me, from my store, you'll receive the ebook version for free. So you can read it right now. Does that work, you might ask, not unreasonably? Well, simply pre-order the paperback edition of The End of Gods from my online store. There's a little thing scrolling across the bottom there where you can go to. There we go. And just go to my store. And if you pre-order the paperback, you receive a link to download the ebook version. And you get a little thing. It comes up. Do you want a Kindle version, an EPUB version for Kobo, Apple, or even a print PDF? So that's the deal. The offer only applies to orders for The End of Gods in paperback, made via my Wishes of Woodville online store only. It's not applicable to any other retailers. And you'll get a little link to download it. The offer expires at 1 minute before midnight GMT on the 1st of January 2026. So yeah, pop along. If you're listening back, I'm going to pop a link in the show notes. So yeah, pop along and pre-order the book. And this is exclusive to me at the moment. It's not up on Amazon or any retailers, not until January, because the retailers generally don't like authors giving away stuff for free unless they can do it too. I hope that all makes sense. And thank you for your patience and happy reading. Right, back to the show. And this one, as you probably got from the intro video, is a science fiction special. Let's just play. A huge thank you, as always, to Dominic Curry for his epic video jingle. Vijingle. Is that? No, that doesn't sound right.
That sounds rude.
Now let's meet our special guest. My special guest is the author of many books, including Veteran and its sequel, War in Heaven, the Age of Scorpio Trilogy, the Bastard Legion series, and Spec Ops Z. I'll have to ask him about that. As well as having written for the Black Library, he wrote the novelization of the Sony Pictures Bloodshot movie and Marvel's original Sin series. He's worked in the games industry with the likes of Yoozoo, Ubisoft, DPS Games and CCP. They could be real companies, I don't know. He could be completely making it up. He's also written screenplays. He's made a couple of short films. And his new book, Alien Cult, is a murder mystery noir set in the Aliens universe. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's only that Gavin G. Smith. Gavin, how are you today? So actually, that's a loaded question, because I know you got the lurgy, haven't you, mate?
I am really ill.
Oh, bless you.
I've got a lot of flu symptoms at the moment, and I was kind of bullish about this earlier. And I go, yeah, it'll be fine. It's not fine. So I'm gonna soldier through it, but just warn you, I may sometimes go quiet and just cough or something like that. I've been doing lines of Lemsip all afternoon. And if I can get through this interview without publicly leaking mucus, that will just be a win as far as I'm concerned. But
That would be nice. That would be
yeah,
nice.
other than that, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Very good. Well, look, let's get right into it. Let's not fanny about. Alien Cult. Oh, look at that. Love it. Now, this is doing something very different to the movies and TV shows. It's a detective story with a kind of a noir. It feels very Blade Runner in places. It ties in elements from all over the Alien universe, including there are references to Prometheus and Covenant. That can't have been easy to balance that. Tell us more about the story.
So the story has an FBI agent initially investigating a series of kidnappings, which he suspects is connected to. He thinks it's a serial killer, but as you push on, what he finds out gets more and more odd. And this is happening in a place called, for those of you familiar with alien lore, the Alexandra colonies, which is in the core world. So it's big built-up areas. It's not like the isolated colonial places that we're more used to in Aliens. But he sort of traces the person doing the crime, and without giving too much away, he discovers that they are connected to a cult on a sort of transhuman cult on a colonial planet. So he goes back there, teams up with the colonial marshal, and they try to get to the bottom of this transhuman cult. And needless to say, the cult is in certain ways connected to the greater lore of the Aliens universe. I don't know, because to me, because of how I came at it, I didn't think I was really doing anything too different, if you see what I mean. So
Right. Yeah.
what I should say is all the things that people love about Aliens is there in it. And yeah, I mean, I tried as hard as I'm very used to working in other people's with other people's intellectual property, because I've sort of done it. I'm a big sort of tabletop role player, so I did it as a hobby for years and years and years before I started working in games themselves. I started working for IP, so it doesn't seem that difficult, and there's some excellent resources out there. If you're an alien nut, like the tabletop role playing game, but also they've got an excellent online wiki, so it's perhaps not as difficult as it may look. And also, because this is a writing podcast, as a sort of sneaky look into it, when you're doing this kind of work, you don't need an awful lot of it to help embed it in the existing lore. But what you do need to do is when you use it, so when you make a reference to something, you've got to make sure that it is embedded in the story. It's not jarring. It's not. To my mind, it's a difference between sort of presenting a consistent universe and fan service. Oddly, fans don't like fan service. They like consistency and things like that.
Well, fan service is kind of like, it's like any other plot point. If it's glaring, you kind of, the writer's trying to do something. Whereas if it's done well, it's done well. I'm always fascinated. I mean, working in someone else's IP, especially one as big as this and the year that the Alien universe has had. When you come on board with a project like this, how much of it exists? Do they give you a brief, or do you pitch a tape to the publisher?
It depends on what you're doing. So I've done tie-ins with Original Sin and with Bloodshot. So they were kind of like, here's the material that we want you to adapt. that's actually some of the harder work that you're going to get to do in IP, particularly with a film script. You'll know yourself, film script is maybe 30,000 words. And you've got to turn it into an 80 to 100,000 word book, but you can't add anything. So you end up doing an awful lot of internal stuff for the characters. So I call Bloodshot my Russian novel because it's all about the internal world of Vin Diesel. But for Alien, I very much had an idea, and I very much wanted to start writing original stories in existing universes, because I have a deal with myself that I'm only going to do this work if I'm really in love with the worlds that I'm writing with. So my agent's got a list of IP that I'm happy to write about, and we kind of quite aggressively pursue it to try and get in there. So we had well, I had the idea for this. I wrote it up in quite a long pitch. I mean, I think something like I think the pitch itself was just shy of 10,000 words. But you've got to bear in mind, we're dealing with companies like Disney, we're dealing with companies like 20th Century Fox. They are quite rightly very protective of their IP, so they need to know what's going out there. So they need that level of detail, but also that level of detail will protect you when you give them the draft, because they're not going to be surprised. Spoiler: they were still surprised. So. But it helps. It helps make the more you can tell them, the easier the process goes. I'm a big planner anyway, so that helps.
So, how does it work as you start writing? Do you have to deliver it in chunks and get their approval before you move on, or do you deliver the whole thing, or does the pitch do all that work for you?
The process is you send the pitch, they okay that, and normally they will come back and they'll ask for some changes to the pitch for things that they're not happy with. But no, then the next time they will see something will be a first draft. In fact, no, actually it's later than that, because it will go to your editor. Your editor will do a run at it, then it will go to the company. So because that's another layer of the editor going, yeah, okay, but I don't think we're going to get that past the parent company. And I'm not necessarily talking about Disney or Fox there. I've worked, I've worked for a number of companies.
It makes me think of screenwriting, actually, where you're giving it not just to, say, the director, but also the producers and then the studio people, and then there might be 14 producers all have to sign off on something. So it creates its own headaches, doesn't it? So
well, I mean, there have been times where you've been doing this kind of work I felt quite hard done by, but it's nowhere near as intensive as screenplays. You're maybe having to do another draft. The problem is if they come back. The problem is, hypothetically, if they come back and they say, "Can you change half the book?" and you're going, "Well, that's another X amount of months' work, and I'm not going to get paid any more money up front for it." So, that's going to get in the way of my other things. But that is a hypothetical problem.
Yes, fair enough. But I've been looking forward to this book for a long time. Publication was delayed. Was that down because this has been a big year for Aliens? We've had the Alien Earth series, we've had Alien Romulus. Did those big events sort of play into the delay of publication? Did you have to sort of sit back and wait?
I don't think so. I think if anything that both Romulus and Alien Earth coming out before the release day, I think that's worked in my favor, because I think both of them, but particular Alien Earth, have renewed a lot of interest, because I mean, obviously there's a very hardcore fandom for Aliens, who we love, but you always need to get beyond the fandom as well, in terms of sales and things like that, just to sound completely mercenary. And I think Alien Earth has brought in. It's either reinvigorated people's old interest in Aliens, or it's brought in new people, different generations of people. And of course, if you watch Alien Earth, you like it, you can go back. And I do wonder, can you imagine, this is difficult for people of our age, but Alien Earth is the first thing you see at Aliens, and then you just imagine the abject delight when they go back and watch Alien and Aliens.
Very envious. Very envious. Well, we watched it as a family, didn't we, Em? But then I've already brainwashed you of the Alien universe, haven't I? Yeah.
I mean, they're family films.
Exactly, they are about motherhood. Second one's all about motherhood.
Second one
there
is
we
all
go.
about motherhood.
Yeah, and the first one is a bickering family, essentially. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, did you see anything in Romulus or Alien Earth where you thought, "Damn, I wish I could put that in"?
No, I'm wondering. Does that make me sound hugely arrogant?
No, not at all.
No, I didn't. I think. I think with Romulus, they were traveling well-traveled ground, and that's not a criticism of Romulus. That's kind of what you want these things to do. With Alien Earth, now my understanding of is Alien Earth, the writer Noah, the showrunner's name Noah. I can't remember his surname.
Noah Hawley. I think so. Noah someone, but yeah, it's very good. He also did Fargo. He was very good on that as well. So yeah.
I think I think he decided that they were going to break canon. They were just going to do their own thing. So for somebody who's working within canon, which I was at the time, because I didn't see Alien Earth until it was on television. I think a lot of it came out of left field, which I think is a good thing. I think it's probably needed. But yeah, so because there was so much stuff that was kind of unexpected, I guess it was things that hadn't really occurred to me.
Yeah, it's but it's great. It all weaves into this ever-expanding universe, which we're, like you. I think Aliens is your favorite film of all time, isn't it? I mean, it's
my first novel, Veteran, was basically a love letter to aliens, and I think the Veteran books and the Bastard Legion books, which all take place in the same sort of universe, I think in my head that universe is designed by Sid Mead.
Right, nice.
For those who aren't sort of alien fanboys like myself, Sid Mead was an industrial designer who he's responsible for how the human technology and whatnot looked in certainly Aliens, I believe Alien, and also Blade Runner. So he kind of designed the science fiction of my youth, and he's sort of the counterpoint to Geiger's design from the Alien perspective. So yeah.
Fantastic. And having been this lifelong fan of the Alien universe, playing in its sandbox, you must have been waiting for this. You said you have this list that you and your agent have. This must have been tip top of the list. So did it live up to expectations? Did you have fun playing with the Alien world?
So we've tried before. I tried to I came close to one of the earlier computer games, but the games company decided that they didn't want a tie-in novel at the last moment. And when Aliens Fireteam came out, which was a sort of colonial marine shoot 'em up in the Alien universe, I tried again, but nobody seemed to be doing anything without it. So it's actually been over 10 years trying to get into this universe, but I think I needed the experience on Bloodshot, and then the chops from working in the Marvel universe, and then sort of to get into the Aliens universe. Now, I was really bullish about it, really super confident about it. It's like, I know this world, I'm a big fan. I feel like in many ways I've written this kind of thing before, and yeah, I thought this is going to be. I've got the right story. I'm very happy with the plot, with the characters, everything. Until I started writing, and then the kind of weight of the responsibility came down on me, and it's like, what have you done? Why have you done this to yourself? And it's like, oh, yeah, and you go, you cannot get this wrong, because you owe the people who are going to read the book, who are just as big a fans of the universe as you are, etc., etc., etc. And I have to say, as I said, I'm a big planner, but it's not often I feel the need to go back and rewrite chunks of the book as I go along. But I was sitting there going, this isn't working, or it's not good enough. So I think I removed about 3 or 4 chapters from it and rewrote them, and then sort of went through, laced them all in like that. So I think the thing that hit me, and this is weird, and I don't think it's never really happened before, even with the Marvel stuff. And I'm a huge Marvel fan as well, and I was a huge Marvel fan growing up, but I don't recall ever feeling that sense of responsibility before. That's maybe something I shouldn't admit in regards to my other IP work. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean though. It's I love Star Wars, love Star Trek. It is a terrifying prospect of, if you get a chance to write in this universe, it's like that Gary Larson thing with the guy in the orchestra, and he's got one cymbal in his hand, and he's saying, "Don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up." That would be me. So I salute you for doing this, and it's kudos to you for pulling it off. It's just is absolutely amazing.
I'm very pleased that it occurred to me during the writing and not before.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I guess in that case, the outline would help, though, wouldn't it? Because at least you've got a roadmap, and you've worked this out with the right people higher up the chain, as it were. So you kind of know where you're going. So at least you're not thinking, I don't even know how to win this, which is what I'd end up doing. So it's.
That's because of the way I write. That's less of an issue. I need most of it in place. Actually, I pretty much need all of it in place before I start writing. So
cool, excellent. Well, look, let's take a break there. I'm going to give you a little moment to do. If you need a break, mainline some lemsip or whatever you need to do while I have a little commercial break.
All right.
Oh, he's gone. There we go. Folks, let's talk about the green room, shall we? Twice a month, I run live sessions on the Zoom where you can ask me about the craft of writing, your work in progress, the business of publishing, all that good stuff. The sessions are fun, informal, chatty. You can send me questions in advance. They're recorded live and saved on Ko-fi for exclusive access to Green Room supporters. So you can see the link for the Green Room there, scrolling along the bottom, and it'll be in the show notes if you're listening back to the podcast. Now, I run this via Ko-fi. You can join the Green Room for just £20 a month. There's no long-term commitment. With Ko-fi, you can support for a month or as long as you like. What I will say, everyone who's signed up has stayed the distance for over a year now, so that's really encouraging. And we got a whole bunch of people they've written books, had them published since then, and it's evolved into a really, really wonderful group. So if you want to be part of that, do give us a go. My goal is to give supporters advice that will make a real difference to their writing and career, because the way I see it, having worked in this industry as a salesperson, a bookseller, an author for over 30 years, I've made every mistake so you don't have to. Now, the next Green Room session is on Wednesday, 17th of December. There's 2 every month. There'll be 2 more in January. That's what we call a 200-word workshop session. People send me 200 words from their work in progress, and we critique it. We have a chat about it. It's all very informal, friendly. Like I said, it's all good fun. So I hope to see you there. And I got books, and you can buy them. Did I mention that the End of Magic trilogy is now complete? You can, if you can get, get them online or wherever. But for a signed and dedicated copy, if you come to my store at witchesofwoodville.com, you can get books there signed and posted to you direct. And there's no better book for Christmas. There's no better gift for Christmas than a book. Deloitte, the research company, they do research into all sorts of things. They discovered that people who read live longer. Science, it's just science. So buy someone a book. You're not just giving them the gift of reading, you're giving them the gift of extra life. There we go. How about that? Back to Gavin. Here he is. There we go. Gavin, how are you, sir? Had a nice break there.
I had a nice coughing fit. I feel much better now.
Thank you. Excellent. Well, let's go through our regular questions that I ask of all our guests. So, what small thing has made a big difference to your creative process?
So I think there's 2 things. Some time ago, I think it was back when Twitter wasn't a hellscape. The writer Tade Thompson posted something up about his routine, and he's a medic, but he was talking about doing exercise first thing in the morning to get your brain going, to get you thinking.
Yeah.
And I actually need some time in the morning just with myself to sort of properly wake up. But I've sort of started incorporating exercise into it. So my routine is exercise, then sort of catch up on the the boring jobs that I've got to do, but plan what I'm going to sort of check the plan for what I'm going to write. So that way, when I go and have a shower, I am thinking about what I've got to do for the day, and I just find that routine makes it smoother, and as in it improves my word count.
I do the same thing. I've been I do sort of 5K on a bike, which is very squeaky, isn't it? And I've woken up because you hear the squeaky wheel going around. It's like a hamster. And Tade would know. Tade is a medical professional as well, so take advice from the best there. It definitely helps. Gets the blood flowing. You, instead of sort of slouching at your desk going, "Oh, I've got to write today," you're energized. You're ready to rock. So definitely works for me.
I find because you've got all the chores out of the way, by the time you're sitting down and you feel refreshed and whatnot, you just get straight into the writing.
Nice. What's the thing that makes you think you're ready to start writing on a project?
Quite often necessity. Because I'm a sort of shamelessly commercial writer, I've often got deadlines, and I've often got quite tight deadlines. My problem, a big problem, also the amount you get paid in the advance. You're never sure what you're going to see beyond that, and what you're going to see beyond that could take some time to cycle back to you. So I do my sums based on that. So it's like, if I'm getting paid X amount, then I've got to write the book within X amount of time, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
sense,
so I've got to say I give myself 3 months to write a book or something like that. I've got to do that's got to include the research time. My problem is I often get bogged down in research because I'm enjoying the research, and do too much research, and sort of start writing late and it runs over, and things like that. So normally I know. So my big conflict about starting writing is I'm not disciplined enough with cutting off the end of research and going to work. That's my big issue. But normally I know I've got to write because I've got a schedule. But the other thing is I start writing when I finish the research.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the amount of time you allocate to it, because a writer friend of mine recently was offered an IP project. And when we say IP, folks, I mean intellectual property. It's someone else's property, but you get to, as you say, Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, or whatever. And they were offered an IP gig, and the advance was like $5,000. It was, this is not big money we're talking about, and you're working to very, very tight deadlines. And of course, there's the scrutiny, from all sides that you might know. This is not an easy gig at all. Anyone who thinks it's easy money is having a laugh, I think. So
what I would say about that is I consider myself a mid-list author, and sort of the mid-list has been crunched by lots of various factors in the publishing industry. But the one power you have is to say no. And so, I mean, my advice to writers is for this kind of work, particularly, is be professional, be as easy as possible to work with, because these are fraught projects. There's an awful lot that can go wrong in lots of different ways, and also, I mean, just sheerly word count and things like that, they can be tricky when you're trying to adapt a film script or something like that into a full novel. But if you do that, and they will love you for it if you come to them with solutions rather than problems. But if you do that and you can work quickly, and when I'm writing my own stories, what I say goes, but you've got to bear in mind, doing this kind of work, the customer is always right, even when they're not. But if you can do that, then know your own worth. So when somebody comes and lowballs you, no, thank you.
Excellent advice.
And also get an agent like mine, because he's brilliant.
Excellent, good, top advice. Yes.
Yeah.
How do you know when you're done?
Normally the story ends.
Don't laugh, you'll encourage him.
Well, I know what you're getting at, but because I do so much work up front, where it never is, but the first draft isn't what I hand in. It's normally the third draft that gets handed in, but I want to get as close to the finished and polished product as possible. You know what I mean? Manuscript as possible when I hand it in. So I do the work up front in terms of research, in terms of planning, because to me, to be going back and back and back and back and back would be miserable. This is probably why I'm not the world's greatest screenwriter, if you know what I mean. Because a script is never finished, ever finished.
No. Fair enough. How do you remember that idea that you have at 3 a.m?
Again, I sort of work somewhat differently. It's very rare for me to get hit by a bolt of inspiration. My process is thinking on an idea and thinking on an idea and thinking on an idea and thinking on an idea, and then eventually I've got enough that I'm ready to write it down. So things are kind of percolating constantly, and you've got a number of projects that you're mentally working on until you think, okay, I'm ready to start on that. But as a result, I don't get that bolt of inspiration that I have to wake up and make a note on, because I'm working at it rather than being inspired. That said, I have my phone next to my bed, so whenever I want, I use the Notes app. I use the Notes app so I can put it all into it links up with my computer, so I can just work from that, turn that into a notes file, turn that into a chapter breakdown, that kind of thing. So that's how I do that. I know you like a notebook, and I know I like a nice notebook, but to then have to transcribe it would I wouldn't enjoy that, and from my perspective, I don't have the time to do it. So
no, fair enough. Fair enough. Each their own. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in your writing career?
The biggest. I'm laughing because I've made a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The first novel I ever wrote got published, and then I feel like I've learned how to write very publicly.
Right. Yeah.
How
old were you? How old were you when you first got published?
I think in mid-30s.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Yeah.
And I've been writing, but I've been writing other stuff. I've been writing scripts and things like that. And I wrote a lot of sort of tabletop role-playing games, but just for me and my friends to play and stuff like that. So, and I think I remember being at a convention very, very early on in my career, and I was telling a French publisher about the Dungeons and Dragons campaign I was writing. And he said that sounds amazing, and kind of offered, intuited that there would be a book deal there if I wanted to turn that into a story. I was sitting there going, yeah, I'm not sure that's kind of what I wanted to be writing fictionally. And yeah, that was dumb. But there's a couple of projects which I'll never reveal what they are that I wish I hadn't done.
Right.
And again, there's one of my series which I love, but it's simultaneously the worst thing I've written and the best thing I've written. And I don't think I was a mature enough writer to tackle it at the time. So I think the order of my books should have changed. I don't want to tell people what it is because I don't want to put them off buying them.
No, but I know what you mean. I mean, I was writing plays in my 20s, and I think thank God that never got out there, because I'd been mortified, absolutely. Because like you, I was learning how to do it, but I was doing it in front of 30 people in the studio theatre or at the Edinburgh Festival to even fewer people, so no one really saw it, and I doubt anyone remembers it. But I learned a lot. I, again, made lots of mistakes and learned a lot doing it. So it's a good way to.
I cringe about some of the stuff I've sent to adults in the industry that I never should have.
Right.
Yeah, because they just weren't good enough, and that's both in terms of film scripts and in terms of books.
Well, I mean, you're not alone there. You are not alone there. I think it's nice to know I'm not the only one who's done that. So, what's the best happy accident of your writing career?
Best happy accident. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm a happy accident kind of guy. I think I was kind of lucky to get into publishing when I did, because I think my Veteran came out, I think 2012, and that was just as everything was changing in publishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So ebooks were coming in. Amazon was beginning to look more and more like a vertical monopoly. So I think I got in at a lucky time, because I think I don't know how other people. I think you need a different skill set to the one that I've got to break in today. I don't want anybody to feel down about it. I think in many ways there's a lot more stuff being published than there was when I was trying to break in. But I think you need different skill sets to the one I've got. I'm not good at self-promotion and things like that.
I mean, you described yourself earlier as a mid-list author, and I'd say I'm the same. And I think certainly when I was working at Orion, the great gift was that Waterstones had the 3 for 2 promotion.
Yes.
Which is you'd go in and you buy that one book that you wanted, but you thought, well, I might as well get another 2. And you take a risk on someone you'd never done before.
Yeah.
But of course, what that led to was massive overstocks at Waterstones, which nearly put Waterstones out of business.
Yes.
So they stopped all those paid promotions, which scuppered the 3 for 2s. And it happened overnight. I remember it. I remember my boss was going, this is a disaster. You know, I mean, it's good for Waterstones and maybe it's good for the industry as a whole, but there's a whole raft of authors there that are, and the thing, and I'm going to go off on one a bit now because I think what happened as well, it coincided with someone in publishing went on a course in the mid 2000s and learned about Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, where you put 80% of your effort into the 20% that's making you money.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now. So the big brand authors get all the money, the exciting debuts get all the money, and no one else gets anything. Whereas it used to be a much more fair spread, I think, and you had those opportunities like the 3 for 2s. That's the big key thing that's changed. I think it's the retailers just aren't just don't have the opportunities that authors used to have. That's lost us a viewer. Okay. On the live stream. Right. Final question of the regulars. Is there a character or a story swirling about in your mind that you want to write, but you're not ready to write yet?
Again, because of the way I work, there's all sorts of projects up there. There is one which is a post-war murder mystery that I'm hoping will come to the fore sooner rather than later. But it's going to take some time to plot out because I'm not going to be happy unless it's a really kind of intricate murder mystery. And it's also going to take an awful lot of research to get right. Sadly, some of the research will involve me spending time in the Highlands, but the sacrifices we make for our art and things like that.
Oh, fantastic. Right, folks, if you've got any questions for Gavin, pop them in the comments and we'll deal with them in a moment. But Gavin, we're in the home straight now. You're doing brilliantly. Do you need a little break? Do you need a little time away? Or you carry on for another 15 minutes or so?
I'm happy to go on for another 15 minutes. I wouldn't mind a break to go and do a bit of coughing, which I don't think viewers and listeners need to hear.
Well, do you want to do that now?
I'm just going to do that now. So if
you do that now.
Excuse me.
No worries. I'll talk about the now. We've got the next episode of Creative Differences is going to be very, very, very soon. On Thursday, the 18th of December, 8 p.m. GMT, we're going to have Queve McDonald, author of the Bunny McGarry series, the Strangest Time series, of which, I've got a copy here. Hang on, he's up on the screen. There we go. Ring the bells. Is his latest. I absolutely loved it. And look, he even looks like Santa there. Look, I've given him a little hat and everything. I've got a future in design, do you think, Emily?
Yes, you do.
Yes, he's nodding like a dutiful daughter. So, yes, it's going to be a really, really special live show. So join us on the 18th of December, Christmas special with Queen McDonald. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Gavin is back. Are you okay, sir? Are you ready to continue?
Yes, I am. I'm absolutely fine. He
Wonderful.
told himself.
Let's get on with it then. Let's talk about the things that are bringing you joy. Maybe that'll uplift you a bit. So you sent me a little list starting with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep, I'm on my third playthrough of it at the moment. It's my kind of end of year treat to myself. Like any game, it's by turns a great deal of fun and incredibly frustrating. But I love Baldur's Gate. it's an iteration on the kind of the role playing games that came before it, but their emphasis on story is just brilliant, and they weave an awful lot of stuff in there, and they do it very well. And I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 40 years, and it was very much the kind of Dungeons and Dragons that I like. That's what my games feel like, or it's what I think I'm doing. My players might disagree, but yeah, I love it. And I think I'm being particularly even-handed in saying how much I love it, because I did try and get a job on the game and they turned me down. So yeah.
Oh, okay, right. But been playing Dungeons and Dragons for 40. I've had games of Monopoly Go feel like 40 years. Hate Monopoly. And you were talking about your holiday movie, your Christmas movie selection as well. So let's skip through those, Sarah. So this is here we go. We're all calling Danny Boy.
I think everybody should watch Where Eagles Dare, and the reason I think that everybody should watch Where Eagles Dare is in all sorts of modern storytelling, whether it's film, books, or everything, all the emphasis is on the character arc. And there's a reason that all the emphasis is on the character arc. It's because actors love character arc because it gives them something to do. There is zero character arc. Yeah, absolutely none whatsoever in Where Eagles Dare. It's just
true.
Plot from start to finish, and it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. So I really recommend people watch that film. And have you ever had it where it's younger people that you might know are going, "What's Christmassy about a war film?" And like, well, first of all, snow. But also, I was sort of trying to explain this the other day. Christmas was a time that war films and James Bond was on when we were young. So if you're Gen X, if you're British Gen X particularly, you connect war films and James Bond to Christmas, which I think is what Jesus would have wanted.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Speaking of Bond, you just vaguely mentioned that you watch Bond films. I've got to ask, I suspect I know what the answer is. Favorite Bond?
I'd be interested to know what you think I'm going to say.
Well, surely it's Sean Connery.
And you would think so, wouldn't you? Particularly as I am actually Scottish. And I love Sean Connery, but I grew up on Roger Moore.
Me too.
So the first Bond film I went to see, and it's still my favourite, is For Your Eyes Only. And I think that was 1981, and I would have been about 7. So God knows what my parents were thinking. But it's got to be Moore, and he's kind of the silliest of the Bonds. But he's so much charisma, and and he shows up a lot on my Christmas list, because I also watched The Seawolves, which he is in.
Yes.
I sort of have a. Do you know who Ewan Lloyd is?
I know the name.
He was a British producer. He sort of produced the Wild Geese, the Seawolves, and Who Dares Wins, which is another one of my Christmas films.
Classic.
Tend to have a miniature Ewan Lloyd season over Christmas time. I do watch Christmas films as well.
We'll get to those in a moment. Seawolves, is that the one? Is that the one that was also known as Folks?
No, I don't think so. Seawolves is a true story. It's from a book called The Boarding Party, and it's
about the oil rig.
No, you're thinking of North Sea Hijack.
Yes.
Yeah,
one, don't they?
No, The Boarding Party. It's a World War II thing, and it's basically a group of retired soldiers from the Calcutta Light Infantry. pretended to be a group drunk of businessmen whilst working for the SOE in Goa, and they snuck on some German ships and blew them up because those ships were sort of radioing.
Gregory Peck, yes. You know what? I've not seen it in years. I know the one you now. I look
Yeah,
it up now. Yeah, and
David
Niven,
who I love David Niven,
and directed by Andrew McLaglen. And I know someone who knows Andrew McLaglen. My boy Steve. Yeah. So anyway, yes. Moving on from Bond. Seriously, it could get very Alan Partridge very quickly. This now.
Have you lost any more?
Hello. Right, a couple of surprising choices from you. Paddington, which is, you know, a family Christmas classic now already, nearly 10 years old now. Paddington.
And that's one of the in the run up. So that's we'll watch Paddington and 1 and 2 normally on the 23rd of December, and we'll watch Die Hard on the 22nd. And then I don't think I mentioned this in the list, and I have more of a problem in justifying this. But Christmas Eve, I always watch Young Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why. I have absolutely no idea why. Early Chris Columbus film.
It's and quite snowy as well. Is it set at Christmas?
I think it's certainly around that that time. But yeah, it's a good fun film. It's sort of like I think at the time it was marketed as a kind of Indiana Jones for kids.
Yes, which we had Indiana Jones anyway. So what were they thinking? But it's a good film. It's a good film. If you go, and it's got that early use of CGI with the stained glass window as well, which is really effective.
Yes, so, an effect which still looks pretty good today.
Yeah, no, it really does, really is. And another surprising choice, a film I've not seen actually, The Holiday.
Okay, now this doesn't need to be justified, but all the British bits in The Holiday were filmed in a place called Sheer in the Surrey Hills, and that's just up the road for us. So we actually did this on Sunday. We did a walk called the Sheer Loop, which is a wonderful 2-hour walk.
Yeah, I know it.
Stopped in of course you do. Yeah, stopped in a couple of pubs, including the one used in the film, and then everybody was back here for Sunday dinner, and then myself and my partner Yvonne, we watched the Holiday in the evening. So I think I mean I like it as a film anyway, but there's that added little bit that we're familiar with the place.
Fantastic. And your book choice is a book I've had recommended to me many, many times, and to my shame, I've still not read it. It's Christopher Fowler's Roof World.
Yeah. Set at Christmas. It's I don't know. It's just it's a really good romp. It's supposed to be kind of a horror story, but it's kind of it's like a latter day Wheatley. It's about I don't want to give too much away of it, but I feel it's kind of obvious, but it's basically about subcultures that live amongst the occult subcultures that live amongst the rooftops of London, and it's set in 1989, and I like an 80s setting, even though the actual decade itself was dreadful, but I just very much enjoy it, and I was actually playing in a role-playing game with at the moment, a game called Mage, and it's being run by Dave Moore from Rebellion.
Oh yeah.
And Stu Hodgson is playing as well. Stu Hodgson is a brilliant science fiction writer. He's got a book out called The Hanuman Project, which everybody should read if you like science fiction. But that's got a sort of a London setting, and that made me think about it. And there's elements of what they call psychogeography in it, which I like, about the kind of the occult significance of the London landscape. So no, it's good fun. I recommend it a lot.
Excellent. I shall check it out. Right, I'm going to go through the things giving me joy. I'll give you a couple of minutes to go backstage if you need to do your ablutions there, Gavin. So yeah, things that are bringing me joy. I discovered quite by accident the folk singer Kate Rusby has a song called The Holly King, and it is absolutely divine. I discovered it because The Holly King, the ebook, is on promotion throughout December, and I thought, I wonder if there's a song called The Holly King, and it is, and it's just beautiful. Although I've got to say, The Holly King in her song is considerably less arrogant and rage-filled than the one in my book. My movie choice is The Holdovers, which is a Christmas movie, even though in the UK it came out in January 2024, just after Christmas. But it has the hallmarks of a Christmas classic. It's written and directed by Alexander Payne, who did Sideways, About Schmidt, Nebraska, which is a brilliant film. It stars Paul Giamatti as this grumpy teacher who's lumbered looking after a hopeless student over the Christmas break. It's very funny, very moving, and Divine Joy Randolph won an Oscar for her performance. Highly, highly, highly recommended. And the Beatles anthology. Now, I remember this the first time around, and absolutely loving it. The thing about the Beatles is it's not just the music, it's the fact that you wanted to be in the band with them. You want to be part of that gang and experience what they experience. And this, I think, is the closest you'll get to it. Like I said, I do have the original DVD box set, but a toddler scribbled on the box.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was George.
So that's what's bringing me joy at the moment. Now, Comic-Cons, this is normally where I plug my Comic-Cons. I've done my last Comic-Con for the year, and I've done 42 of them this year, which is kind of mad. But what I'm going to be doing between now and the end of the year is a series of videos outlining what I've learned doing Comic-Cons over the last year. It was just going to be a quick video. It's now looking like it's going to be a 4-part epic, so keep watching my socials for that one. So I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of Creative Differences. You'll find all the links we discussed in the show notes for this episode and the episode's webpage at the Creative Differences website. Huge thank you to Emily for production assistance, to Kai Newton for the edit, and Dominic Curry for his the jingle. Let's just play that one more time. There we go. Gavin's back. Gavin, what's coming next from you, sir, after Adventures with Aliens?
All stuff that isn't far enough along that I can announce at the moment. I should have a novella out next year, and I'm in early discussions about a science fiction novel, and that's really about all I can say about that.
Fair enough.
Have some other stuff out in the marketplace at the moment.
Wonderful. Well, look, folks, between now and then, you've got Alien Cult. Dip into that. It's absolutely fantastic. You got Gavin's amazing backlist. I meant to ask, Special Ops Z or Special Ops Z?
Z. I don't. I so very
disappointed.
I don't have to say these things out loud. What do we say in Britain normally?
Z.
Okay, in which case Z. Yes. Just alienate the entire American market. Why not?
Yeah, why not? It's worked for me.
Don't make me laugh.
I'm staring off. We've come to the end. Listen, folks, and don't forget to join me not long now, 18th of December. Queen McDonald's going to be here. It's going to be a Christmas special. It's going to be really, really good fun. And look, if you've enjoyed this podcast, things like ratings, reviews, likes, shares, they all help with those blasted AI algorithms. But more importantly, on the human level, if you can just tell one person about this podcast, this live stream, it'll make all the difference. It's the word of mouth, the best marketing there is. So until next time, happy writing, reading, and being different. And that includes listening to proper Virgin.